Hi there crew members, got some nice content to show you in this video. Two starships, two enterprises. This one that you can see here is from a video that I did quite a long time ago. It's quite a rough model and I basically used it to work out how the finished model will be displayed. And remember, the finished model is a massive 1/25th scale. Here's the opening of the video that this model was featured in, and I'll leave the link in the description to that full video so you can see what my thoughts are around how it's going to be displayed. So here we can see areas where visitors to the display can make their way up and look in depth closely at that huge model. But now if we come back here and I just take the camera to the left a little bit, we can see the big E there in the distance, the dorsal and the work in progress of the saucer section. So this is 1/100th scale, okay, and the building of this is purely to get an absolute blueprint for when I scale it up to 1/25th. I've said all this in previous videos, but just in case this is your first time to this channel, I'm just kind of repeating myself a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all this down and show you the actual detail of the progress I've made. So there are 3 crew members beaming in, and I'd love to start close in like this with a familiar area like the transporter room or somewhere else, and then pull out slowly to just give a demonstration of the size of the original ship. It's something that I really like to do, and actually it is a big part of the build that I'm doing. Of course I'm building the entire interior of the ship, but one thing that I really want to do is get across the size of this ship. It's absolutely huge. Let me just go back in again, down to that crew member on the outside edge of the saucer section. There, you might not be able to see him yet, but we're coming around to passing the crew quarters to the outside edge to this crew member here, stood on the outside edge of the saucer. And again, we'll zoom right in on him, get a long shot, and then come back out again so that we can see that crew member in relation to the saucer section of the original USS Enterprise. And this actually isn't the full complete saucer section, as you can see. So what is new on this build? After doing so much work on this part, I really feel now that it's time to bring in the rest of the saucer and start to work on the different areas. So as you can see, it's in sections so that I can work in sections and then put together very precisely this way. As you know from previous videos, this is all going to be crew quarters on the outside of deck 7 until we get to this area here, which is a little bit of a complex area. This is where the dorsal section connects to the saucer section, and these cutout areas here are where the massive support structures will connect the dorsal to the saucer. And here you can see on the test model of the dorsal section just how massive those connective structures will be. So as we come further back, this area here is a corridor, and this area here is going to be impulse engineering. Okay, and then as we continue around again, of course all of this area that is cut out is the undercut, which we can see there, the undercut under the saucer. And And then we just continue around with the crew quarters going all the way around. And oops, there's some very, very nice 1/25th scale printed 3D shuttlecraft. Let's have a look at a few more things that are new in this build. So coming back here, we have the beginning of deck 6. So you can see down in the crew quarters, there's deck 7, and then up here is the structures of deck 6. And we have some nice pipe wiring systems going around the underside of deck 7. That will all be to do with water distribution, waste management, and that kind of thing. Here is one of those ladders coming up from deck 7 to deck 6, and then they step out behind that awesome mesh. I've left this part open here, so this would actually be full corridor, but I've left this part open purely so that you can see, or hopefully see, it's a little bit dark down there, we need to get some LEDs in. Hopefully you can see this corridor here, and it is a bit dark down there, it's a bit spooky. We need to get some maintenance engineers in to put some lighting in that. But anyway, we can see that this corridor has steps leading up and it travels over the undercut. This area here is storage on deck 6 above. So if we go over that, we can see that that corridor continues, and there's our maintenance crew member. He's working on the lights as I speak, and he will come down the stairs here onto the inner part of deck 7. And that's nice and spacious. One of the things that I love about the original USS Enterprise is it's so welcoming, it's so human. The corridors are nice and wide, the colour schemes are kind of pleasant on the eye. You know, it is one of the issues that I've got with these modern ships, you know, like Enterprise and actually the Reefer Enterprise. It all just turned into something that looked like a submarine, like grey, everything grey. Narrow corridors, stark lighting, the whole thing. It just didn't do it for me. Sorry. Anyway, there's that corridor leading into the central computer core again. So we've seen all this in previous videos. So let me show you now the development of the underside of the saucer. So the whole thing is turned upside down, and then I could not resist but to place these beautiful little Burke chairs, 1/100 scale Burke chairs, sent to me from Toronto by Andrew, as you know from previous videos. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that, 1/100 scale. Anyway, the undercut under the saucer section, the bit here that you can see, the space underneath, as I just mentioned a little bit earlier, is loaded out with wiring, pipe wiring trunks, goes nowhere, does nothing pipes, all that kind of thing. There will be further, the way this sweeps down will sweep up, and then the whole thing will go into, as you know, into deck 8 and deck 9. Actually, I'm just going to place deck 8 and deck 9 upside down as well, so you can see that. Yeah, so there's deck 8 and deck 9. Deck 8, deck 9, and then of course we will have deck 10 and deck 11 on top of that. Whole thing upside down. So like I was saying, where this structure comes through here, there will be another structure on the other side that will sweep up and create the curvature there, which I will then cover in the same way as I've done here. So all this area here will be covered all the way around this saucer section. Seriously folks, if you like what you see and you think this is a worthwhile project, do consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me to get things going. The channel hit 20,000 subscribers last week and I'm absolutely bombed out by that, I really am. Also, as always, an epic shout out to the patrons supporting this mission. This is what one of my patrons made for me a few days ago. He sent me an email and he's actually made me an award for the best dorsal section award. And it just brings tears to my eyes that I just think, wow, the support that is coming in is just incredible. Like this kind of thing with the guy sending me no less than 400 chairs, Birch chairs from Toronto. He also has sent me another 400 toilets, printed toilets for the ship. He saw the video before this one where I was making those toilets by hand, and literally half an hour after I posted the video, I got an email from him saying, "Hey man, I've just seen you making those toilets. Do you want me to get on it with the 3D printing?" And they should be arriving by post tomorrow. So I'm just bummed out by the support that is coming in, and the feeling of community that is now arising on my Patreon. So if you want to support the mission even further, please do consider becoming a Patreon. There are now only 20 spaces left on board the ship. If you don't know, when you sign up as a level 2 patron, you are assigned quarters on this ship with your name on the door and a few personal items in your quarters. 20 spaces left on board, folks. Absolutely epic. Let me know what you think in the comments section. As always, I hope this video finds you well. See you soon. Bye for now. God, I love original Star Trek, me. Can you imagine just looking out of the window and seeing that?